here's how I made a 3D animated Hollywood level quality scene in Blender in only 24 hours. Challenge is, I'll be creating a scene entirely from scratch from one of the most classic 3D animated Hollywood movies. Every stage along the way I'll be doing myself, from recreating a beloved donkey, a dragon, an ancient castle, all to form a finished cinematic fully animated 3D shot in just under 24 hours and only using free open source software. Now, animation studios often have crew sizes of over 500 talented artists working full time that are specialized in every workflow department, like concept art, modeling, rigging, layout, animation, look development, lighting, visual effects, and compositing. Each one of these artists working with separate computers in their departments, where I'm doing everything off of one single RTX accelerated PC. And even with that number of people working together on a feature-length film like Shrek, it still took them an estimated 5 years to complete. Bro, I don't got 5 years, nor do I have 500 people to help on this project. It's just me, in 1 day of time. Also, a super powerful RTX 5090, courtesy of Nvidia, this video's sponsor. Let's see what we can do. The first stage was deciding on a classic scene to recreate from the movie Shrek. I went with the full introduction of the dragon! We got volumetric lighting, we have a broken castle, a donkey in distress, and a full-on dragon. Sounds like enough of a challenge to me. I wanted my version to be somewhat original though, so I went about in Blender modeling my first 3D character, not doing any direct copying for proportions or anything, just using a basic reference image or two and my memory of the character, so it's gonna be more original and a bit unique. I skipped any sculpting and basically went straight to the retopology stage, where I'm just creating the character off the top of my head with no real reference to follow. Probably a bad move, but I also wanted to move fast. I went ahead and gave our donkey character some nice big old ears.
Do you think maybe he's compensating for something?
For me, I'm really enjoying challenges like this. I think often artists get in their own way by being too picky about details or resisting going on to the next workflow because they always feel like it could be better, or you're unconfident in different aspects of the 3D pipeline. A challenge like this forces you to be efficient at everything and get results in a timely manner, really kind of breaking down your own walls that are preventing you from accelerating on your 3D journey. At least that's how it kind of feels for me anyways, so thanks for coming to my TED Talk. This whole process to have just a semi-decent looking basic mesh took me about an hour for the donkey alone. Then it was on to the dragon. Similar process, a little bit faster the second time around though, as I had a better idea of how I was going to be modeling this character. Still, the dragon was more complex with multiple shapes and horns and a really strong eyebrow ridge, a snarly mouth, all kinds of details that had to be poured into the 3D modeling. By the time I was done adding details like the hands, the claws, the massive rack of teeth, the horns coming out the side of the jaw, the modeling process took another estimated hour and a half, 2 hours on the dragon alone. That was about all the time I could spend on the 3D modeling workflow. Now it was time for me to switch departments over to the sculpting workflow and start adding some details onto the dragon. Some nice gnarly scales on the face, wrapping around to the back of the head, using some reptile brushes in Blender from the add-on Blender kit, which gives you a lot of extra brush tools and options. Pouring as much detail as I can across a high quality version of this dragon. This version was over 5 million triangles, and I still had silky smooth performance sculpting in Blender thanks to the RTX 5090 accelerating performance. But I then took the high quality version and baked those high quality normals down to our low quality dragon mesh, so I could still get real-time performance and FPS inside of my Blender viewport when animating. Speaking of animating, it was time to switch chairs again to another department, this one being the rigging department. I had to figure out how to rig both these characters super fast because I would actually be doing a decent amount of animation in this scene, and rigging is something that you really can't skip at all if you're doing any animating. Essentially, it's adding bones to our mesh so we can have the mesh deform in the proper ways at the proper points in the mesh to look clean, semi-realistic, and natural in its movements. So while rigging is definitely not my strongest suit, I dove right in. I needed to have bones all the way down the wings so I could do the epic reveal of this monstrous dragon with its wingspan coming out looking all daunting. And as you might have noticed, I didn't bother modeling or rigging down any more below the waist on this dragon because when you're in a time crunch, there's no point in adding any details that you won't be seeing on the camera. This is actually really common in 3D animation. A lot of times meshes and animation is designed to only look good from one angle, as soon as you take a look behind the camera, things get really wonky. So with that much in mind, I definitely didn't spend all kinds of extra time modeling teeth and facial details onto our donkey when his back was gonna be to the camera, because that would just be straight up stupid. With the dragon rigged, I went ahead and also rigged our second character, the donkey. While he's not going to have as much movement in the scene, I still need to have his head, his ears, his legs all kind of trembling and moving around a little bit. This process went pretty quick, and when I parented it to the mesh with automatic weights, it was actually very clean right off the bat. The only thing you generally have to tweak in this is like the mouth and teeth, making sure they move with the right jawbone. And then it was time for the next department of animation. I wanted to get the scene sort of laid out so I could start working on the details that were going to be necessary and stop wasting time adding molar teeth to the donkey when it's not going to be seen from the camera. Alright, I'm good. I went through adding static poses for every second of the shot. The shot was going to be about a 5 to 6 second long shot, starting with the dragon reveal, then the dragon roar, and finishing with the dragon wing reveal as it sits there dauntingly over our poor little helpless creature. Spent a lot of time on this stage of the workflow, as animation has always been one of my favorite workflows, and it's something that I definitely don't suck at. Then I was on to getting our helpless donkey into the scene and animated. For this, I need to put together a little pedestal of rock that he was standing on. For this, I used some 3D scanned rocks to build a nice little ledge for our character to be stuck on. I then took some brick 3D scans and using Blender's new fancy array modifier, staggered these as some nice little stairs then, hanging off of this ledge for our character to be stuck on. Then with the character in place, animated into a pose to be helpless and shivering. When an animal is threatened, they often kind of hunch their hindquarters in. For this, I had to kind of shrink the donkey's butt down and then animated his eyes kind of following the dragon moving up, added some movement to the ears, and then for the trembling, a really quick and dirty technique to add a lot of animation fast was just to grab a few of the bones and in the graph editor add a noise modifier to the rotation of one of these bones. You can see just by doing that, it makes the character sit there and tremble infinitely, which is all I needed him to do in this case. That and a little bit of head movement, a hoof move here and there, and a little bit of shaking, and our animation was done on the donkey. So with the characters rigged and animated, this would be time for another department in our 3D workflow, texturing. For this, I fired up my graphics tablet and started doing some hand-painted textures with a basic brush stroke pack in Blender's texture painting software. This process is a little bit slow going, but also kind of relaxing and fun. I go into a lot more detail on how you can do this kind of texturing in my arcane style video if you guys want to learn all the in and out details. This process took at least another hour per character, so if you've been doing the math and kind of filling in the blanks, we're up to about 10 hours of work on this project. But we got some texture maps, and that's enough to start working on some rendering, starting with the dragon. And this is where we get to harness the real-time speed of the RTX 5090. Using NVIDIA's optics denoiser in real time, working on these materials, really the faster you can visualize, the faster you can lock in what looks good. 25 years ago, when a movie like Shrek first came out, the rendering would take days to render. And the artist would accidentally make a simple mistake by pushing one wrong button just to find out that that one change messed up the entire hair simulation on Donkey and he looked like a freaking puffball. As hilarious as these results are, when you can visualize things in real time, you can see exactly what changes will be happening the second you make them. And this supercharged my workflow. As I was working on the materials and also moving into the next department of lighting the scene. Now for anyone out there that's used volumetrics before, it's basically the most intense thing you can do in your 3D renders, especially when they're being lit by multiple area lamps and a sun. In this case, we're simulating some moonlight coming from the top and some red lights simulating lava coming from the bottom. And the 5090 just cooks. Not in temperatures, we're actually sitting nice and chill below 50 degrees Celsius for these renders, but it cooks in render time. I was still able to make changes to my lamps and my materials in real time and visualize them just in seconds. Like the anastrophe levels on our volumetric shader to get the right amount of like God rays coming through the smoke from the moonlight. This would have taken so much longer if I had to wait minutes to see every single change that I made. Then I was on to adding subsurface scattering to our dragon for that fleshy sort of material tone. If you're unfamiliar with what subsurface scattering is, it's the light that you get when you put a lamp behind your hand. You see some of that fleshy tone that you get through the skin when the light is behind it? That's subsurface scattering. Again, something that's kind of taxing on hardware to simulate generally, and computer technology couldn't even simulate these sort of materials back in 2001 when Shrek was made. In the later Shrek movies, they started adding the subsurface scattering to the characters, maybe even too much at first. Once we had the dragon with the bump mapping and the texture mapping and the subsurface scattering all looking perfection, it was time to give the donkey some love. For him, we had to throw some hair on him, starting with a thick bushy mane, which kind of gave the signature mohawk donkey look, using Blender's particle hair editor to comb these into the exact right shape, and then rendering millions and millions of hair particles, not just for the mane, but across the entire donkey body, combing these in naturally to kind of fit the flow of the character, and using the principled hair BSDF shader in Blender, along with the texture map that we painted. Quite a lot of detail for only being able to see the back end of our donkey, but this has to be a Hollywood level quality 3D animated scene, ready for theaters. Now one of the last stages was the camera movement. For this dramatic reveal, Shrek used a push-pull camera movement, which is really easy to simulate in Blender. Basically, you animate the camera moving in, while the focal length is animated animated zooming out, so you get this sort of vertigo effect of the focal length getting larger as the dragon emerges from the ashes and looks really daunting. A few finishing details on this scene was to add a little bit of facial animation to our dragon. For quick facial movements, instead of rigging every bone to a muscle on the face, I'm using shape keys, an easy way to make expression changes just in edit mode. Or for example, if you want to have your character blink or close its eyes in this case, you can just simply animate the shape key slider for these animations to take effect. Way faster than face rigging would be, and for just one shot, that's all we really need. The last details were some burning embers floating up through the ground. This was simulated with some particles, some smoke overlays, similar effects to the ones I used in my Lord of the Rings massive army battle scene. And throughout all of these different workflows, I had 0 crashes with Blender during this entire project, which is pretty impressive, running on the NVIDIA Studio drivers, which provide the most reliability and efficiency for tasks like 3D rendering. You already know the RTX 5090 is gonna be fast. You can throw everything at it, including the kitchen sink, and it will probably still render it. Learn more about NVIDIA Studio with the link in the video description. And last, it was time to render out our fully animated cinematic scene and see how we did in our challenge. A scene created by a dude in one day at home versus the scene created 25 years ago by a studio of over 500 artists with a budget of $100 million. So time to roll the film and see how we did. Not too shabby. It's pretty satisfying to see how everything came together here. Let's compare it to the original. I was really happy with these results, and you really have to zoom in on these characters to appreciate the amount of detail we managed to pile in just a handful of hours. That wraps up this challenge, but talk to me in the comments, guys. What do you want to see next? What is possible? How far can we push our software and hardware limits in the next video? That's it for me, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and thanks to NVIDIA for sponsoring this video. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace!